So we're gonna have a second part to our science video this week because little did I know that when someone calls you and you're recording a video on your phone at the same time that the video stops and it switches over to call. So unless you wanted to hear my phone call, then I figured I would just stop the video and start it over again. All right. This means the rock is exposed to wind, water, and weather that can cause it to break into smaller pieces. This is called weathering. When the wind blows, it often blows materials around with it. These materials could be sticks, leaves, small rocks, or many other things. This material might crash into or scrape against rocks, causing small pieces to break off. This can help form soil. Water from rain, rivers, and streams may run over rocks. The water causes the rocks to bump together and break off pieces, or the water itself might wash off small particles. This can also help form soil. Finally, the weather can break up rocks too. When ice freezes and thaws over and over again, it causes cracks in the rocks to expand, get bigger, and contract, get smaller. Doing this repeatedly can cause rocks to break apart. Now, this is interesting information about rocks and how it forms soil, but is this going to help me with my playground problem? Maybe it could. We know that big chunks of rock get broken down into smaller pieces, but you might not realize that these smaller pieces have special names. Sand is made up of small grains of worn down rock. If you hold sand in your hand, you can see each grain, and they really do look just like they're small rocks. Sand doesn't have a lot of nutrients, and it doesn't hold water well, so soil with a lot of sand is not good for growing plants. Silt is made up of pieces of broken down rock that are smaller than sand. Silt usually has more nutrients than sand and does a better job of holding water. This makes it better at growing plants. Clay consists of very tiny particles. Clay can hold a lot of nutrients and a lot of water, sometimes too much. A lot of plants have trouble growing in clay since it holds so much water. The best type of soil for growing plants is loam. Loam is a combination of these components along with plenty of humus. Loam has lots of nutrients and holds the right amount of water for plants. So they're telling us of all the different types of soil that loam is the best one for growing plants. I wonder if there's some way that we could use this loam or topsoil in order to solve our problem on the playground. What do you think? I did this. We now know that soil is important for providing support and nutrient to plants. We also know that plants are critical to all animals on Earth. So that means soil must be really important to all animals as well. We need to make sure that we take care of or conserve our soil. Conserve was one of those key words that we had to use in our project. Conserve means to take care of. How do you take care of soil? It can take hundreds of years for nature to replenish soil that is eroded or depleted of nutrients. To understand what we can do to take care of our soil, first we need to know what can go wrong. What can go wrong with soil? That sounds like our problem on the playground. One major problem with soil is often erosion. That's one of our other key words that we have to use in our project, erosion. Erosion is when soil gets moved from one place to another, from our playground to the ditch. This can happen when water, like from a heavy rain or flood, washes the soil away. For example, you may want the soil to be in your garden, but after a thunderstorm, you find your soil has washed down the hill and into a ditch. This sounds really familiar, doesn't it? This is erosion, and it doesn't happen just in small places like your garden. Erosion near the ocean can take away a whole beach. Another problem that can occur with soil is when all the nutrients get used up, but no new nutrients get added back in. This can happen when a farmer plants the same crop in the same field year after year. Eventually, the nutrients get used up and plants won't grow there anymore. Without plants growing in the soil to hold it in place, you get erosion. Without plants growing in the soil to hold it in place, you get erosion. My brain just told me that was really important. Let's see if you can figure out why. So what can we do to conserve soil? Luckily, there are lots of things we can do. Here are some ideas for preventing erosion and returning nutrients to the soil. Plant trees and other plants. The roots from plants grow down into the soil and act like fingers holding it in place. Erosion is more likely to happen in places with little or no plant cover. Would a dirt field have little or no plant cover? Used terraced farming techniques. Many of the ancient civilizations you've learned about in social studies, like China, Greece, and Rome, used terrace farming to make it easier to farm on hillsides. Terrace farming involved carving out or building up stair-like areas on hills. These stairs give farmers a flat place to grow crops, and they also slow down water that is flowing downhill, which reduces erosion. Could we use that to solve our problem? Plant a windbreak. A windbreak is a row of trees or plants that surround a field to keep wind from blowing away soil and causing erosion. Could we use that to solve our problem? Compost. Composting involves putting together things like leaves, yard clippings, and certain food leftovers and allowing it to turn into humus. This humus can be added to the soil to help replace missing nutrients. We need humus to grow plants. We need plants to keep the soil. Could we start a compost heap at school to create our own soil? Do we have leaves and yard clippings at school? Yeah. Do we throw away some extra food sometimes in the cafeteria? You bet we do. Rotate crops. Farmers who practice crop rotation don't plant the same crops in the same fields every year. They will rotate different crops so they don't use up all the nutrients from the soil. Without healthy soil, we can't have healthy plants. Without healthy plants, we can't have food chains and food webs. All right, so let's think about this. Let's say that this is their playground. Flat dirt field. Kind of reminds me of the field that we have in the middle of the track at Elmont's playground. But every time it rains, and I'm not going to make it rain on my desk, the water starts to turn our flat mound into a hill that slopes down. And then at the bottom of the hill, there's a ditch that water runs through that winds up getting filled with dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about their playground and I'm going to think about our playground at school. What do we have at our playground that this playground is missing? Then I'm thinking about, they mentioned this thing about a windbreak. Does it get windy out on our playground? Yeah, it does, but we're also surrounded by trees. I wonder if this playground has a windbreak on it. Interesting question that might help us solve our problem. And then if we figure out a way to solve our problem, where can we get that nutrient-rich dirt from? I knew that wasn't going to work, especially on camera, but we're going to do it anyway. I don't mind making a mess. This is science. Where could we get that nutrient-rich humus topsoil in order to help solve our playground problem? So to remind you what your project is. Playground is disappearing. Playground is a flat dirt field that is turning into a steep hill. So it's going from a flat surface down into a steep hill. Doesn't really sound like much fun to play on, at least for more than 5 minutes. Clues. The field disappears more after it rains. Ditch at the bottom of the hill where water flows, and there's dirt building up in the ditch. So you need to answer these questions with your project. And I would strongly suggest drawing something in order to make your project make more sense. Or you can build a model, or you can do something on Google Slides, however you want to do it. Why is the field disappearing? What is causing our problem? How is it impacting the kids at school? What effect is it having on the kids? What steps can we take to stop it? I think we're going to have to figure out a way to stop the problem and to keep it from happening in the future too. What will happen to the school if it follows our plan? If it listens to us, how will things change? What will happen if the school does nothing? If they don't listen to our plan, what is going to be the effect on the school? And make sure you use these 4 words when you're writing your plan. 1, soil. 2, conserve. 3, topsoil. And 4, erosion. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I cannot wait to see how you guys figure out ways to solve our problem. And remember, there is not one right answer to this question. There are many effective ways to solve a problem like this. Thank you. Bye.